You're saying you can't do that, but you're asking us to do it. I mean, and you're saying we're asking, you're the governing body, I'm not. That's right, I say you want something definite out of us, yet you're not down here prepared to give us something definite.
We have given you something definite. We have agreed on this line, as agreed upon by Mr. Sterling and your department head and Mr. Service Outmaker. We agreed on that. Now we're here asking this governing body to agree.
They are all jumpy, including Edmond, and we certainly don't want to try to put Mr. Marshall on the spot here. But what they are trying to determine is, in most cases, I think Edmond is the same way. You're not ready to go out and take a lot of this area into your town at the present time. But if it's necessary to keep Oklahoma City from getting, which they feel is their right for the land, they may have to go out and get it before they can take care of it. And that's strictly why we are trying to get something worked out. And of course that puts Mr. Dooley and Mr. Deary and these other people who don't want to particularly be in either one right now, but at some future date, I'm sure most of them realize that they will be in one city or another.
Well, it won't affect the policyholders. This is just a matter of taxes between the state of Oklahoma and these companies. We're not accusing these companies of any wrongdoing, and I think they will pay the taxes. But these companies, when they're first licensed in the state, they gave us a power of attorney, which provides that they are legally responsible for any contracts that they issue in this state. And we're going to see that the policyholders are taken care of. And they will be taken care of. It doesn't affect their contracts at all. But I think that these companies will pay these taxes because I think they're justly due, and it's been through the neglect of the former personnel of the insurance departments that these taxes haven't been collected.
That's the most expensive way in the world to build roads, is by building toll roads.
So we spend $4 million from our private road program, our state road program, to survey and set up engineering and traffic counts on the toll roads, then not be able to sell the bonds we would have spent. It would have cost our state highway program on the interstate system $40 million over a 4-year period. Because we spend $1 million a year, the federal government will match the interstate system with 90-10, and that would be costing our state road program $40 million over 4 years, and still our bonds might not ever be sold to build these toll roads.
Bonds that are going to cost between 5 and 6%, and you won't be able to get a bit less because, as I say, the Illinois ones you can get more than 5%. That would cost you, for $200 million worth of roads, it would cost you $600 million. All right. Now let's suppose we did it. And it's been said in the newspaper in an editorial that I was a little bit unfair because I compared the matching ratio of interstate funds, which is 9 to 1 or 90 to 10. All right, let's forget that. Let's just say we're going to build these roads with primary matching funds, 50% state money and 50% federal money. Then you'd get $200 million worth of roads for $100 million worth of state money. The other way you do it, $600 million. On the other hand, if you could match it with interstate funds, you could get $200 million worth of roads for $20 million worth of state money. There's your comparison. There's your difference. But as I say, even though I think this is unwise legislation, I'm not quibbling with you so much over that as I am the fact that I don't think there's any way in the world you can do it unless you submit this to a vote of the people.
We agree with the chairman in the sense that the magazine Oklahoma is a wonderful issue. We think it's something that the state should be part of, but we don't feel that the boat owners as a class should be made to support this particular magazine. It isn't their magazine. It doesn't particularly pertain to them. Consequently, we don't feel that they should support it.
It'd be more logical to put a dollar per night tax on a motel or a resort room to develop a fund to draw in more tourists. I mean, there, to me, would be a more equitable slant on how to develop tourist trade.
Now, all the bills that are appropriation bills, there's only $70,000 appropriated for tourist promotion. Arkansas promotes over $350,000 from state funds, so does Arkansas, Missouri, and New Mexico. We're going to have to compete with that. And by the boat owners themselves wanting access roads to these lakes, I think this is an easy way for them to come out with only $6.50 and $10.50 boat licensing bill that we have here, for us to give the additional money to promote a larger tourist business that will put the facilities on these lakes that you're asking for. Thank you.
I don't think the membership of the Senate will ever go for the advertising feature in the bill. I'm sincere. I don't obligate them as a committee, nor as the majority of the Senate. We feel like that it is a necessity. I don't speak for nobody other than myself, but as an individual member, I've never been approached on Oklahoma as today.
I want you riders to get out and go promote. We're going to be here way up in July. You've got plenty of time to get your own bill.
City employee cost of living pay scale adjustments. Recommendation, council approval of revised personnel policy resolution to take effect July 1st, 1959, relating to pay scales, outlining a revised grade schedule with recommended adjustments based on fluctuations in the cost of living. Now, approval of this resolution will make it possible to include in the 1959 budget being prepared for council consideration and approval recommended reclassifications based on merit, correction of certain inequities, as well as to allow for cost of living adjustments.